everybody. Welcome back to the Butterfly Effect podcast. I'm your host, Steph.
I'm Liz.
And we are so happy that you're joining us here today.
So glad.
I'm sick of you. Sick of you.
Wait, I thought I was making conversation.
No.
Oh.
Those are cues.
Oh, okay.
This is your cue. I'm really, really excited about today's episode. Much like last week's episode.
Yeah.
We had a really great guest on our podcast. If you haven't listened to it, we just want to encourage you, go give it a listen. But today I'm super, super excited because you get to hear from another part of our family. And it's the wonderful and beautiful Sam Jacobus.
Why, thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
She lives for the applause.
Yeah. To give some background on Sam a little bit, she is my adopted sister, Liz's real sister, and someone that we really, really love. She is what we would call a social media influencer.
Honestly, yes.
That's what I'm saying. Some people...
It's a heavy load you're carrying.
No, serious.
For real, Sam, if you haven't checked her out, we're going to link her Instagram and social media below. She shares like really, really vulnerable stories, which is why we wanted her on this podcast.
Yeah.
Because she loves being vulnerable and authentic. And we're going to kind of get into that today, a little bit about like social media and her sharing her life on Instagram and what that means. Because I know she kind of has gotten like a lot of backlash, right?
Haters.
A lot of haters.
Yeah.
And
but I have a lot of lovers.
Yeah, you're gonna get them. You know, you're gonna get the people that love you, the people that hate you, but they can't stop watching you, right?
It's so true.
So like, if normally like if you really, really don't like someone, you unfollow them. You don't have to see their stuff, but you have people that still follow you because they still want to see your stuff.
I think it's the people who still follow you are the ones who are jealous.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have people that genuinely care.
Yeah.
Like
You do.
Amazing
It's
friends.
like a
I have amazing
mixture,
friends.
yeah.
A mixture. I have a mixture.
Yeah. So we love Sam and we want you guys go give her a follow. Because her stories are not just about the put together of the family, like everything's so cookie cutter put together, but she shares all spectrums, the hard days, the good days.
I cry a lot.
She cries. There's cry.
Oh my
there's
God.
tears.
I talk about diarrheas.
Things. Yeah.
Oh
a lot of
my
things.
God.
Hormones.
Diarrheas, the gym,
Yeah.
the
and
foods.
she talks
Foods.
about young living. She's a young living advocate.
Advocate.
Yeah, we have essential
No,
oils
it's
on.
not.
Senator?
Yeah, it's not an
You're a
advocate.
senator? What are you?
Senator.
No.
She's the
The
president.
Oh my
Presidents
God.
of
Young
Young
living.
No, I'm a
You sell them.
ambassador.
Ambassador.
I love all the essential oils.
the
I
word.
use them.
We have
in
them
all
on right
ways.
now.
Yes, we
have
do.
them
Smells
on.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
love them.
yeah, we are supporters of Young Living and
We're living young.
We're living young.
So I'm really excited to kind of get her story. She has a lot of things that she could share on. But one thing in particular that we really, really want her to walk us through is her journey with infertility. Because it's a tough one. You shared us because this is our second time recording and not a lot of people know that.
Yes, it is.
But when we first recorded and you shared your story, we didn't even know the journey that you went on, and it gave us just a different perspective and a different kind of like look into Sam.
Yeah.
And we live next door, you know, like we know each other, but it gave us such a different perspective into your life. And I would really like our listeners to kind of gain that perspective.
Yeah.
So to kind of just jump right in, if that's okay with you.
Jump on in, honey.
Do you want to ask us any questions?
No.
Okay.
I mean, should I?
No.
No,
you
no.
don't
How
have
you
to
all
do-
doing today?
Great.
Good.
Fantastic.
We're excited about Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So excited.
Great day.
Great day.
Beautiful.
So to jump right in, you have 3 beautiful babies. How old?
So Kylie is 8, just turned 8. Isaiah is 3, and Elias is 1. My babies.
Oh, little boy.
So small. And your journey with the pregnancies weren't always easy.
No, and I've shared this on my Instagram and before Instagram, probably Snapchat. So 8 years back.
On
I don't
Snapchat? Really?
Yeah, 8 years back. I don't really know if there was Facebook. I have
Yeah.
a lot of Facebook stuff, but it wasn't like as intimate. Is that the word?
Yeah, vulnerable as it is
Vulnerable
now.
as it is now. So, and yeah, with my story with Kylie, there wasn't really much to it. It was a very normal pregnancy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, where do you want me to start?
Yeah, so start me on, so you find out you have Kylie.
Yeah,
right?
get pregnant with Kylie right away.
Right away.
Birth
No
control
problems.
next week. Get pregnant with Kylie.
Oh my God, it was that fast?
1 week, honey. I stopped my birth control. Let me tell you guys, you will get pregnant.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, mom had infertility issues, and I was like, this could take a while.
Yeah.
And Micah wasn't fully mentally prepared because it was a year into our marriage. He could have waited a little longer. He didn't really care. I was like babies immediately, and he was expecting probably a few months. That's the norm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I peed on a stick one day, and
It happened.
I went into Micah. He was still sleeping. I said, honey, I'm pregnant. He's like, oh. And he turned back around and went to bed.
Oh my God. Wait, I remember
Legit.
you told me the day that was probably one of the really like best days of my life. I remember. Remember that?
I remember I was in
Oh
the
my God.
kitchen and I
Okay,
called you.
so no, you came into my room.
I did?
Yeah, so
called Mom.
you came into my room or something like that, or you called me. It was the same day that I found out that I
know.
won Battle of the Bands for Bamboozle,
I know.
which was like the huge concert that I did.
Yeah.
So I remember that news, and then on top of the news of finding out you were pregnant, it was just
So
like,
exciting.
oh
A
my
great
God.
day.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a really
that's
good
awesome.
And no one was really prepared for me to be pregnant. Like
Right.
mom and
No.
dad, they were
So
kind of like,
shocked.
you know what, you're still young. You just got married. And all I cared about was baby. So like, I feel like, I think my cousin Lauren I called first, if I can remember correctly.
I think it was, yeah.
And then I called you, or it was only like 2-3 people
Yeah.
I told.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
but I specifically remember you coming into my room, sitting there, and we're like we were talking about it. I was like, and
Shock.
I just found out like about
Yeah.
Bamboozle. I was like, this is the
I
best
know.
day of my
And we were
life.
so young.
Yeah,
like
we
it was
both.
just like not a care in the world. Where
Mhm.
later on, when you get older, you're like, oh my gosh. When I got pregnant my other times, I was like in shock because
Yeah.
it's like so many things could go wrong. Where it's like your first pregnancy, you think nothing.
You don't know what to expect.
Nothing.
Really, yeah.
You think everything's going to be perfect. And my first pregnancy was perfect.
Right.
Was that the kind of like the bar after your first pregnancy? Like
Yeah.
when you were getting pregnant the second time, you're like, okay, this is the bar. So every single time it needs to meet that kind of expectation.
Yeah, because I didn't really know about my PCOS at the time,
Mm.
which it's polycystic ovary syndrome. It's a horrible thing. A lot of people have it. They're misdiagnosed, so they just don't know about it. But infertility comes along with that. And when I got pregnant with Kylie, I was at my like most healthiest weight. So my PCOS was pretty much under control.
Right.
My insulin levels were pretty under control. So hence why I got pregnant with her so easily. And then after I had her, I lost a lot of weight again, and then I gained a lot of weight. And then that's when I gained all the weight because of my severe depression through the 5 years of trying to get pregnant. So that infertility journey was from, we started trying when Kylie was like 1.5, 2.
Wow.
And then,
Wow. So you have Kai, and you're starting to try for a second baby.
Yeah.
And you can't get pregnant.
Nope. I mean, we went, I think, 4 months without seeing the holistic doctor because we kind of wanted to go that route of not doing the fertility drugs wasn't really on the table at first.
It wasn't an option.
No, not at first. So I think it was like 4 to 6 months, which usually around 6 months to a year, you should probably see somebody.
Sure.
And I went through months and months, cried every single month of not getting pregnant. So I did all the holistic drugs.
Wow.
Powders, concoctions.
Right.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
oh my God, visits like tracking your stupid ovulation. And let me tell you, if you have tried to see if you're ovulating or not, if you know what I'm talking about, it's quite a personal, it's quite a intimate time with yourself. You
my
have to
God.
measure things.
Ew.
Yes.
I don't know this
You might
journey,
wanna
and I
edit
don't
this
want to know it.
Yeah, it was quite the journey. They told me to do things that if you went through a fertility journey, and if you know what I'm talking about, it's an experience.
It
Let
is.
me
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's an
It's
experience.
invasive.
It's invasive. It's
Wow.
you need to know
God.
every part of your body. Like, oh, I feel like I'm ovulating, or there's just so much to it.
It's not
Right.
just an app.
It's just not an app.
Yeah.
Not for somebody like me.
Yeah.
Right.
Some people get pregnant when they literally try not to get pregnant. I envy those people. And then there was me that like every day I was checking everything.
And your friends were getting pregnant too.
Yeah,
Was
it
that
was
hard
sad.
to see?
Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. Every Facebook post, I'd be
Right.
secretly sad, but so happy for them.
Right.
Right. Bittersweet. So you're on this journey. When did you learn like I'm infertile? Like what was it? Was it a doctor's appointment? Like walk me through when you found out like it's going to be very difficult for us to have a second child.
Yeah, I think after I did the holistic thing and I did some rounds of Clomid, which is a pretty heavy, like it's what people use to get pregnant, and that didn't work because I did rounds of that. I did rounds of IUI in the regular doctor's office. And when that didn't work, I said, you know, we need to see a fertility doctor. And that's when I approached the pastor at the time. And it was a very, very sad time for me because I was ready. And I went up to him and said, you know, because his opinion mattered to me at the time. And I went up to him and I said, what do you think about me seeing a fertility doctor? And he just kind of sat there and he was just like, I don't really think that's a good idea. And that made me feel extremely scared because at that point I was trying for well over 2 years, well over. And I was like, well, fertility is my only option right now.
Right.
Like I've been praying on my knees, on my hands and knees for like 2, 3, 4 years. I feel like the fertility is where I need to go next.
Yeah.
And that door was shut for me because I just listened to that one opinion.
Right.
So yeah.
So you go and you ask like, and just so like everyone understands, like we are not against that.
No.
Like we are so for like if you're walking through an infertility journey and like I'm guessing that made you feel some type of shame.
It was really bad.
Like
you know,
it made
I
you
struggled with Jesus for a while, like when it came to that. Never did I like doubt him. I was just like, am I not having enough faith because of the culture that we were in at the time? It was kind of like, yeah,
it's your fault.
It's my fault.
Yeah.
So I felt so much shame. I cried every single week at church just out of like, it was a relationship with God that I've never had before, which I had to go through that journey. And I've talked about that before, but like, it was a like desperation years.
Right.
So desperate. Cause my call in life, I feel, is to be a mom, and that was not being fulfilled at the time. So I felt empty and I felt sad. And then everybody around me is like, well, you have one healthy baby. Like, isn't that enough? And that
must have been so hard to hear.
I want to lose it. I want to lose it. But, yeah, so that was a really hard time for me and Micah, you know.
Right.
It was a lot on Micah emotionally.
Right. Right. So we just want everyone to know, like, there's no shame in going to a fertility doctor. Like, explore your options. I believe that God has placed people with medical intelligence, like people who are smart in that field for a reason. God places doctors for a reason. Yeah. And it's important to take those steps that are necessary for your body and for your life. It's your life. This is your body. Right?
And do it in a prayerful way, you know, like during that journey with your like during the journey, even while you're seeing the doctors, you can still pray about which direction you want to go in with the doctor. I mean, we were given many options, and we had to prayerfully make the right choice. So it's not like we're just going in and giving all the doctors like all permission,
right?
You know, like we did it in a Jesus way,
right? Absolutely, and it doesn't say that you have lack of faith because you chose to see a fertility doctor. Sometimes God will tell you not to do that, which I know happened to your mom. Because she had fertility issues.
And that I struggled with as well. I think I struggled with that because I was like, my mom, I don't know if she'll ever share that story, but she was told to, by the Lord, she was told not to go on, I think it was like a pill, like Clomid or something. And then, so that was always in the back of my head, like, well, my mom, like, was it wrong for her? Is it wrong for me? So, like, I was just struggling. I was on a struggle bus, and I was severely depressed.
Yeah. Right. I think that's important, though, for people to understand that your walk is so different than anybody else, especially your parents as well.
Yes.
So, like, just because someone took this direction doesn't mean that that's the direction that you have to take.
Right.
Totally agree with that.
Everything is done, like Sam said, like
so
prayerfully.
Individually.
Yeah. Like, the Lord has a journey for you. So you guys, when did you make the decision? So you get kind of like counsel from this pastor that you're like, that you trust.
Yeah.
He kind of counsels you not to do it.
Yeah.
So what was the decision that you made after that?
So I didn't do it, and I was crying every single day just because I was frustrated, because I felt trapped, and then I felt like, I guess I don't have enough faith. And so I struggled with that for a long time. But during that time, I was able to build a relationship with Jesus that I've never would have been able to build if it would have became so easy. Like, so if when Kylie was 1 or 2, when we started trying, and I just went right to the fertility doctor, I wouldn't have had the same relationship that I had with Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, because I wouldn't have been so desperate. I wouldn't have been so, like, I've never seeked him ever in my whole life like I did throughout my pregnancies, to be honest. Because those are the hardest times of my life. So I seeked him in a different way than I do now. You know, like more as a need, well, we always need him.
Well, everybody goes through that time in their life where they're like desperate, but that's a very specific season. It's not all the time.
No, it's not all the time. And there's going to be more seasons to come later in life. So like I've learned, I know this Jesus. So like for the next time I come across something, I can go back and I know like the intimate parts that I had with Jesus, the love that he shared with me. Like, I would scream. I remember like being in my room by myself and just like crying and like talking to the Father like an actual humanly Father. Like he was right next to me. I would yell, I would curse, I would scream, I would do anything I needed to do to like, you know, get it all out. And infertility, a lot of people don't talk about it. I'm very open about it, obviously. At the time, I don't really know how open about it I was.
I don't think you were very open about it.
Not about, I was open like, I'm going through infertility. I was very open about seeing doctors. A lot of people don't want to talk about that. But like as far as how much I was in my head, how depressed I was, like I didn't speak of that.
Right.
Only Micah knew. Only my poor husband had to, not poor husband, but he got all of the weight.
Right.
Like I didn't put it on anybody but him.
Right. Right.
So shout out to him.
So you're going through this tough journey. How long would you say that was?
So Kylie was 5, so it was like 4 years.
4 years of like
4 years,
fighting,
and
praying and crying
and having a lot of sex, and not good sex. Sorry, but it's true. Like another thing, fertility people understand. Like you are timed. It is a darn chore, and it should never be that way. Sex should. God made it to be this beautiful, intimate thing with your husband, not to be a chore ever.
Right.
So like it was every single day. And I said to the doctor, I'm like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
You know, Micah was fine, but I'm like, I'm exhausted. They're like, well, you could do it every other day, and I'm like, no.
I want to get pregnant.
I want to get pregnant. So that went on for a year. Right. Okay, guys. That's exhausting.
Yeah.
The unmarried people are like, well, that might be so nice. No. Not when you're stressed. Yeah. Not when you have this heavy burden. Like, okay, we're going to make a baby tonight. Like, it's just too much.
Yeah. It kind of takes like the purpose of it out.
It takes the purpose away. Sex was never made for that.
Right. It complicates things a little bit. So
I just think about how
gosh, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, Michael will tell you it was even too much. Like I was out of control.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah. I guess like I think like that's why I love this story so much, because it shows such a real journey that I don't think a lot of people know about. You know, like infertility, like you said, isn't a topic that a lot of people kind of talk about. So I think shedding some light on what infertility is and the pain of infertility would give honor to the ones that are currently walking through infertility now. You know, like it's a journey, and it's a tough journey, and we honor those people and we pray with them and we support you. You know, this is tough, and we know it's tough, and we hear your voice. And I think that's hard, because you were saying like you didn't really share this with a lot of people but Micah, which is fine, like that's your husband. But like,
and I had friends, like I had really close friends that I did, but I didn't give them everything. You know, I didn't give them every emotion.
I also feel like there wasn't a story that maybe you heard that you can kind of relate with during that time.
I was young. I was young too. Not a lot of people that were getting pregnant got pregnant by accident. And so like I couldn't talk to really
it's almost like it brings a lot of hope, faith, and comfort when you hear a story. Like, this is why we wanted to create this podcast, like so people can hear stories and be able to relate and find hope and faith in the person's story. And
say, well, they got through it, so I can get through it. Even if you're not walking through infertility, like knowing that you can have that kind of desperation, personal relationship with the Father.
I mean,
knowing,
sorry to
No,
cut
go
you
ahead.
off. I'm not even like, obviously I'm not married or even in a relation. I'm not even thinking about having children. I know.
Bendito
But,
bacalao
like,
frito.
But just hearing your story is so inspiring. And
Yeah.
I'm not even in your position or was
Right.
in your position.
Right.
I think everybody has their own story. Unfortunately, infertility was my story. I mean,
Right.
you guys have your own stories.
Yeah.
Like
Right,
that
that we'll
hold
walk through.
just as much
Right.
Yeah.
pain and sadness as mine does. So like everybody had, and that's why I love talking to people. That's why I love listening
Yeah.
to podcasts,
Yep.
having people come on your podcast,
Yeah.
because people have like stories that I'm like, I can't even imagine that pain.
Right?
Right.
You know? So
Right.
like, and as somebody, for me, that's like all I want to do is have babies.
Right.
You know, it like that is so painful for me.
Right.
But you have, I mean, you're going to share your story. And then Liz has gone through, you know, so many emotional
Journeys. Yeah.
journeys. Like mine was physical, but like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love everybody's stories and I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
listening
Yeah. So we like are so honored that you're on here sharing yours.
anytime.
And so guys, like that's why we always open the podcast. Like we want to hear your story because
Yeah.
people will find hope through it.
Yeah.
So you are 4 years in, and did you make the decision to go to a fertility doctor?
Yes. So, you know, there's so much more involved in it because it's been a long time since, so I can't remember every detail. But
Right.
Mike and I spoke about it, and I went to another pastor in our church that I just loved, and I had a lot of trust in him, and he had great insight. So I just one night went up to him and I said, what do you think, you know, if I see it? Like, do you think I don't have enough faith if I saw a fertility doctor? Like, what do you thought? And he just so beautifully looked at me with such fatherly eyes. And he was just like, honey, he's like, go right ahead. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, he just gave me this, like, are you crazy? God created people. Like, that's like saying if you have, like, you had a heart attack or something and you
Don't
shouldn't
go
go
to the
see
doctors.
like, that's stupid. I'm sorry,
Right.
but that is,
Yeah.
I don't agree with that at all.
Right.
So when he said that, I felt such a load lifted off of me because I felt like I was stuck in this box and there was nowhere to go. And I felt like the devil was having a field day with me in that box. Like, I
Wow.
really do feel that way.
Wow.
And as soon as he said it, like, it just opened because there was confirmation, like, in my spirit where I felt like, I think it is okay, but this person told me no.
Yeah.
And then when he said it, I was like, yes,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going. Like, this
Yeah.
is confirmation that this is okay.
Yeah.
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 So walk me through like what does it mean?
What did they
Like,
do?
Yeah, what is a fertility doctor like? So do they test you? Like what does it?
So much testing.
Yeah, yeah.
God, I can't.
So much blood work.
Nope. Nope.
So
Liz
much
is like,
vaginal
ow.
exam.
No. Just no. Like,
Micah, man, he had to give sample after sample after sample, lots of samples.
Wow.
Micah also came back. That was something I didn't share the first time we talked about this. So we had our appointment. They're like, okay, you have PCOS. Of course, we're going to treat you. So what they do is get you on a plan. They start you on a birth control to get you regulated. Thank you. And so we did all that. We did all the blood work. Micah gave his sample in, and it came back 0 mobility.
Wow.
Which
Oh
means
my
little
God.
guys are not swimming. No
Zero?
one, 0.
Wow.
So like, of course, we're like, that's impossible. We know we had Kylie. You know,
Right.
Right.
God forbid I didn't have a baby at that point. I would have had a darn heart attack. I knew
Yeah.
some swimmers were swimming.
You're
so
like, girl, I don't know.
Some little guys were limping along. But
Yeah.
they were
Yeah,
getting
like-
there.
yeah, they got
crutches.
there.
Yeah. They have walkers.
With no hair.
Sorry,
So
Micah.
So
They have
anyway,
Scully's on. Like halfway on because he forgets to put them all the way.
That's always well up. Are you okay? Yeah, I forgot I had makeup on. So anyway, we took the test again. Still the mobility came back abnormal, which I lost it. Mom will remember. I
my
was
God.
in the living room of her house when they called me. And I, on top of all the infertility, like
God, yeah.
this was like, great. I'm broken and now he's broken. And then I blamed it on the
It's not
shop.
funny. It's not funny.
The business, because Micah
The
works in a
stress.
business. No, not stress. The
oh,
chemicals.
the dust and the chemicals.
chemicals.
Yes.
I freaked out. I think I even called Dad and was like, the stupid chemicals, you know, cause Micah to be infertile. So like I was
Wow.
broken. I was like, my body hates me.
Right.
And now Micah's body hates him. And now everybody hates us. And then nothing's going to work. So like mom was there. And that's I don't cry in front of mom. So mom, like I don't cry in front of mom. And I remember being hysterical. And I just don't know if she knew what to do with me because I was just like blubbering. Anyway, she's like, God is faithful. She starts praying. And I'm like,
God.
Shut up.
Yeah. That's the last thing you kind of want to hear.
I was like, pray on me one more time. See if it's going to happen. I said, I swear to God. So anyway, like I didn't lose faith. I was just frustrated.
You just need to get out your frustration.
I was like, do we need to pray right now? No, be quiet. Just hug me or actually don't touch me. I don't like touch. Anyway. So yeah, anyway, that came back, a little abnormal. Who knows? Maybe he wasn't hydrated. I don't know what the problem was, but he does have swimmers.
Right,
okay?
right.
The whole point is that he had to give lots of samples. I had to get lots of things done to me. Lots of ultrasounds. Micah missed a lot of work. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we do the IUI. Okay, so
what is
that
IUI?
is they're taking the semen and they're putting it in this long catheter. They lay me on a table.
Bye.
And they just put the semen in the catheter and push it up me into my cervix.
Oh God.
Oh, it's just fine. Like I said, it's such a beautiful moment. It really is.
This took a quick turn.
I laid there. I held Micah's hand. We prayed, and it was just like, we're making a baby right now because I was definitely ovulating. They look at your eggs.
Sure.
They knew my eggs were the size they needed to be, and I'm like, they're swimming, and I just prayed, and I remember just holding my belly and just praying like, swim, spermy, swim. Like, I just like praying over his sperm, like what is happening? So that was Isaiah, and we did a few IUIs in my OBGYN's doctors, and that didn't go well. So just because they're not like as amazing as a fertility doctor.
Okay.
Fertility doctors are measuring your the size of your eggs. They're very particular, precise. So like when I went to the fertility doctor, I felt like, okay, this is the real deal.
Right.
And yeah, when I found out I was pregnant with Isaiah, I was still in denial. I was at my girlfriend's house, and my friends were so amazing at this time. We had a tight connection, all me and my girlfriends, amazing mom group that got me through my fertility journey, 100%.
Yeah.
Shout
Rolene.
No, Emily, Roxy. There's like a whole long list of them. Leia, there's a whole long list of them. And we were tight. So like, I really, really feel like during that time of my life, that season of my life, those friends were placed there because God knew I needed them the most. Right. We're in a whole nother season now. Like we all have 10 million children. Like it's crazy now. But at that time, like I was struggling emotionally, physically in every area. Right. And God knew I needed friends. And he placed the most perfect human beings in my life.
Right.
That moved away from me, but
we'll work on that.
I might just start crying. No, it's fine. It's
okay.
So there was a bond.
There was a bond. Thank God for my bond. So anyway, I was at her house. She knew I was pregnant before I did. She looked at me. She said, "Sammy, you're pregnant," and I'm like, "No, I'm not," because I was just bitter.
Yeah.
Like, ugh. Here we go again, another negative. And I peed on a stick in her house. I remember upstairs in her bathroom, and I was shaking. Came back positive. I was in shock. I didn't even function correctly. She was jumping up and down, like excited as anything. That's my girl. And then I ran to the pharmacy, got more pee tests, and hysterical crying on the way there because I was like, he did it. Like he's so faithful. And I was just like, there was this moment. It wasn't even about me being pregnant at that time. I feel like it was just this moment with me and my father, like my heavenly Father, where I was just like, oh my God. I'm like, we did this. Like we like you did this for me. Right. So it was like a moment of like, I don't know, pure like, I don't know, connection with the Heavenly Father that I've never experienced. Like I had like an intimate time with like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was so amazing.
Wow, that's beautiful.
It was just so beautiful.
That's beautiful. So you find out you're pregnant with Ziza and like you give birth to him. I'm rushing.
Yeah, we rushed through that.
So the pregnancy was okay.
Loved it.
That's what I'm asking. So like it wasn't like anything was wrong with this pregnancy. You were fine. Maybe you were a little angry at everyone. No, she was happy.
No, you were good. She was good.
That one. It was Eli
where
she was a mess.
Died. She was a mess.
Yeah. Well,
but you had every right to have a mess. To be
okay. So Pregnancy, great.
Yeah, my
Normal.
water broke 5 weeks early. Big shock.
Okay.
Running around naked downstairs here. My dad's standing here.
Oh my God.
Butt naked.
Scary.
Butt naked. Running, screaming. Water
my
coming out of me.
God.
And I hated it. Anyway, screaming. I was terrified 5 weeks early.
Before we move on, you told the story last time, and I want you to tell it again about Kylie. When she was going to bed, you're pregnant with Z.
People remember this. People will remember this because it was such a pivotal time.
Right.
I don't know if that's the correct saying.
Good word. Good word.
But
Proud
thank
of
you.
you.
I think it was an Instagram moment. It was Snapchat. But people that follow me on Snapchat know this. Isaiah was born December 5th. And on December 4th, the day before he was born, I don't know how long it was.
Yeah, December 4th.
Yeah, I was laying in bed. You know, we were all going to bed. Kylie was getting tucked in, and she comes into my room. I have the video. And she's, talks to Isaiah, and we would every night say, "Good night, honey," blah, blah, blah. So she rubbed her hand on my belly, and she said, "Good night, Isaiah. I'll see you tomorrow." And I said to her, I wasn't even weirded out.
Yeah.
I was just like, "Honey, you're not going to see him tomorrow." We still have, I even said to her, I'm like, "Honey, we have a few more weeks, but okay."
Right.
And little did I know, this little prophetic little girl right here saying, preparing me mentally.
Yeah.
Mommy, he's about to come.
Right.
So I was just it was just so amazing. She said it without hesitation. Why would she say that? She's never said that.
How old is she? 4 or 5? 5.
Right at the time.
At the time, she
At
was
the 5.
4.5, 5. Yeah.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was just she's like, "I'll see you tomorrow," and I was just like, "No, honey." It was the weirdest thing. It was so amazing.
That's crazy. Never before. She's never said it before. All of a sudden, she says, "I'll see you tomorrow."
And then your water breaks.
Your water breaks.
Literally 2 hours later.
Prophetic.
Wow.
Crazy.
Crazy. Can't even make that up. It was on
You
Snapchat.
would probably be like, "Kylie,
I would probably blame
you
Kyle.
spoke it."
Yeah, she's spoken into existence, and here we are. But yeah, so Zaya was born. Beautiful delivery. I just loved it.
Oh, God.
Loved it. I had my epidural was beautiful. And if you moms know that push out babies, a lot of people don't get epidurals, and I was going for that. I didn't want an epidural this time, but I couldn't do it, guys.
Really?
Honey.
I'm not having a kid.
Mommy was rubbing my back.
If you
Micah's sleeping.
if you can't do it, I cannot do it.
You can. I'll be there. I'll pull it out. For you.
Oh my God, ew.
Micah was sleeping because if you know Micah, he's
Calm.
my man,
Very
right?
calm.
But when a huge episode arises, Micah shuts down completely.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm in severe pain, over here, and Mom's rubbing my back. He goes to bed. I'm I had to wake him up when I started pushing. I was like, "You're being ridiculous." So Mommy was rubbing me. And as it came for me to push, she's like, "Okay, I'm going to go now." I'm
I remember that.
"Dude, I need you."
Oh no.
It's okay. She gets
very overwhelmed and has to
overwhelmed,
leave situations.
Which is, I respect it. I respect it. But
when
when
she was outside the door.
she was right outside. She has it on video of me yelling. It was great. So I'm holding my big legs up, and I tell the nurse, I'm like, "These are heavy legs." I'm serious. You gotta hold them all the way up to your head, and I'm like, "This is too much."
Why didn't
And then
you
I'm
just
like, "Am I
stand?
pooping?" I'm like, "Is there poop?" Because you poop.
Yeah.
I know the full thing.
Oh, okay. Anyway, he comes out. I feel it. I love it. It was like a ring of fire, like they say. And I'm like, "I feel the fire." It came out. It was so beautiful. I would do it again and again and again. He came out. I held him, and he was beautiful. And he was crying. And so I thought everything was wonderful. And they're, stitching me up.
Oh God, sorry.
It's fine. Just 2 stitches. They take him away from me quickly. And I feel like it was, I think they do that normally.
Right.
Yeah. You're in a blur. You're so many hormones,
Emotions.
adrenalines. And then Micah comes in shortly after with a typical look on his face of
Micah?
surprise.
The Micah face.
Yeah.
Tired with the bags.
Yeah, the Micah face.
The Micah
The
face,
Eli
right?
face.
The Eli face. Baggy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bags.
Baggy.
He got the Chanel, all of it under his eyes.
Louis.
Yep.
He's got a few Louis. So I said, "Honey,"
Dior.
I look at him, and I'm in
Bliss.
bliss, right? And he said, "Honey, there's something wrong with Isaiah." And I still didn't really care what he said. I was like, no, he's perfect. I heard him cry. He's alive. And they're like, we're not too sure yet. They're running a bunch of blood tests, but something's wrong. He's bruised from head to toe. And I'm like, okay. Like I really, you
were in
denial,
such a different space.
denial.
Headspace.
I was like, okay, they'll fix it. They'll fix it. Everything's fine. And that's when we were found out that Isaiah was diagnosed with a super, super rare genetic disease called neonatal alloimmune thrombocytopenia.
I'm so proud of you for that.
I've said it
really
many times.
you really did
I can
that.
spell it too.
Wow,
Yeah.
she's a scholar.
I'm a scholar.
Wow.
Princeton.
Can you spell bucket?
No. No. Don't be asking me to spell things.
Oh my. About piano.
No. You're giving me the guitar. Forget
Record?
it. Never can I spell guitar. I have to talk to it in my phone. If I'm saying guitar, I have to talk to it in my phone.
Anyway, she's passionate about her children. We get
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
find out that he's
it. Has pink
diagnosed.
pneumonia.
Neonatal alloimmune thrombocytopenia.
I got the pina.
For short, Nate.
Nate. So NAIT. So basically, it just means that he bled when he was in my uterus. So his platelets weren't. He had a low platelet count, which means platelets, are the thing that keeps your blood,
Thick?
keeps you from bleeding out.
Okay.
So he had an 8,000 blood count. Any doctors, nurses, anybody in the medical field that is listening to this is fully aware that at an 8,000, you either have a brain bleed, you are born a stillborn, or
Wow.
you have major issues.
What's the
Wow.
normal?
Oh, like 200,000, 150 to 200,000.
Wow.
So multiple doctors said he was a miracle.
Wow.
So-
And there was no reason. I remember you saying there was no reason for him to come early.
No
It
reason.
literally was just like God.
It was God. Like
or
100.
Kylie.
If he would have, if he would have been a day later, like
You would've
not
lost him.
over exaggerating, I could have lost him,
Oh,
or he could have had
wow.
cerebral palsy, like
Literally.
that bad. It's something that's like it's just
Really dangerous.
very scary. And this is very rare. No, a lot of the doctors didn't even know about it. None of the nurses, none of the doctors knew about it. At Hunter Medical Center, they had a doctor from St. Peter's that actually seen this multiple times because he was from St. Peter's. So thank God he was there. Like he was fully aware of it. And he said to me, he's like, you're gonna have to see a genetic counselor before you get pregnant.
Gosh.
You have to plan your next pregnancy like it's a deal. And I was like, okay, didn't really think much of it. I was like, fine, he's alive. They did platelet transfusion, blood transfusions, and once he's out of me, he's gonna be okay, but they just need a transfusion.
Right.
And so we come to find out that Micah and I are completely incompatible, 100% incompatible for making babies.
Wow.
My body kills my babies. My body
Wow.
attacks the
It
fetus.
thinks it's like a
abnormal.
virus.
I don't know if it's like a virus, but between Micah and I's DNA and everything put together, my body just rejects it. So the first baby is usually born okay.
Okay.
The second baby, your body recognizes it and gets rid of it.
That's
The
massive.
third baby,
Forget
no
it.
way. No
Forget
way.
it.
So
Wow.
my third pregnancy needed to be treated with something called IVIG. I had a nurse come over 4 to 5 days a week, 6 hours with an IV stuck in my arm with 2 kids running around. Thank God for you guys. Thank God for my friends. I had my girlfriend Emily stopping over. My girlfriend Rolene moved at the time, but I had friends send me packages like candies and like Magnolia magazines, like things that just like literally the only way I got through that pregnancy, because I was so mentally ill, like honestly severely depressed, couldn't get off the couch. I had no energy to take care of my 2 other kids. My husband was completely neglected from me. My mom did everything for me. I had 3 doctor's appointments at least a week.
Yeah, I remember
Wow.
that.
Yeah, up in New Brunswick.
And then Isaiah wasn't the easiest little boy.
Horrible.
Kylie was the easiest child ever in the world.
Ever.
But then Isaiah is just completely
Tough.
rambunctiously
Tough.
intense.
Well, he was struggling with that ear issue.
yeah. He had his own issues going on.
He had his own issues. I was at specialists for him. So many appointments for me. So like my nurse, Caitlin, I don't know if she'll ever listen to this, but she was a godsend. Like I could cry right now because she
So
has
special.
no idea how amazing she was to me. Like she was around my age, like how does that ever happen?
Mm.
We sat there and become such good friends.
I
And like
remember that.
she was amazing. So like honestly, through this situation, came so many good things. Like my
Wow.
relationship built with Jesus, like 10 times, you
Yeah.
know, like I was fighting for my baby's life.
Right.
I wasn't 100% sure that the treatment would work. So every time I get an ultrasound, I'd have the diarrhea so bad because I have IBS as well.
Right.
So like my stomach was in a freak out attack. I was on
Right.
severely high steroids, which literally can make you insane.
Yeah.
I was not sleeping because I was terrified every night I was going to lose my baby. And so every time I went for an ultrasound, I was praying to God that they didn't see a brain bleed on the ultrasound, which they could see. And at that point, there's nothing they can do.
Right.
So like every ultrasound, I would hold Micah's hand so hard. I'd just be like, is the brain okay? Is his brain okay?
Wow.
And it was like terrifying. So like I'm triggered by ultrasounds, which is, you know, like I'll heal eventually.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
it was such a
Hard.
traumatic, and people go through way more harder things. Like I'm not saying, oh, pity me. I'm
Right,
just saying
right.
this is my journey.
This is
and
your story.
it was the hardest thing that I've ever went through.
Right.
It took a toll on Kylie. It took a
Yeah.
toll on Isaiah. I mean, it took like I had my tubes tied because physically, emotionally, I could never ever be pregnant again as much as we want to be. But I could never do that to my family again. Like never in a million years.
Sure. And so you're just getting like these bad news after bad news when
dude.
it comes to like, and
Everything.
you feel called to be a mom.
This is my calling.
This
like
is
I
your calling.
strongly feel that. Like it's not easy. And do I yell a
Right.
lot? Yes, I yell.
Yeah.
TT Steph sees me yell a lot. So when they counsel you before, fertility people go through this. They genetically counsel you through certain things if you have a diagnosis, which we did 100%. We were not in the 50%, 100% ineffective.
Wow.
Like incompatible, excuse me.
Wow.
So they counseled us this, and this can happen to you. I'm like, none of that will happen. I'm fine.
Sure.
Honey, I promise you, everything on that damn list.
Like what?
So
Name
sorry.
it. No, you're
So
fine.
sorry.
That's
No,
fine.
everything on that list, meningitis.
Wow.
Okay, if you've
Oh,
ever
yeah, you got diabetes.
got diabetes, and not because I didn't eat well. I lost a lot of weight when I was pregnant.
Yeah.
It's because the steroids I was on.
Wow.
So that gave me diabetes. Plus I had PCOS, so that raised my insulin levels. And then the meningitis, which is deathly if you get a different form of it, but this form I got, they had to do a spinal tap on me.
Nope.
And the worst thing I've ever experienced in my whole life, I will tell you that.
Wow.
I had
my
to get
God.
a CAT scan done on my head, and I couldn't move. And my head, it feels like you need to drill holes in your head. That's how bad your headache is. It's the worst headache you'll ever have in your whole life. If anybody's had meningitis, it's like
Oh my God.
it's the worst headache you'll ever have in your life.
Wow.
So I could not sit up. I was in severe pain from my back from them sticking me 10 million times because I'm a really hard stick. I have something's too close. I don't know. So that was a huge thing. So I was out of commission. I couldn't even sit up
Yeah.
for days and days and days. I don't know if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So like my husband is terrified because I'm laying there screaming in pain. They had to do, and then what happens is when they do a spinal tap, sometimes the blood can leak.
Ugh.
And it causes this pressure in your head. And that doesn't happen to everybody. Did it happen to me? Yes, it did happen to me. Yes,
Wow.
it did.
Funny.
So, man, everything, the diabetes, the meningitis.
Anything that can go wrong went wrong.
Everything.
Wow.
Yeah, except my baby came out healthy.
Wow.
And
So-
you were scheduled for a C-section. You couldn't have a natural birth, correct?
Oh, absolutely not, which was terrifying to me. I really
Right.
wanted another natural birth, but I
Really?
was never taking that chance. No, when the baby goes through the birth canal, there's so much pressure on that baby, and with a low platelet count, it's too dangerous.
Sure.
You know, you don't want to worry about the canal. A lot of
Right.
women do it. There's
Yeah.
women that don't care and do it with Nate, but I was
Yeah.
not. No, I was not.
You weren't
taking
taking those
Plus,
chances.
I needed my tubes tied.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
Just get it all done.
So
Mhm.
you're doing this whole process. You're pregnant with Eli, and you're taking the steroids. You're doing the medicine, all of that. Now, walk us through. You're scheduled for the C-section. It's like it's time for baby Eli to come out,
Mhm.
right? Like, was that like something that you were like finally, or was it something like I'm terrified. And like, what was the feeling before getting him out of your belly? Like that waiting period before getting wheeled into for the C-section.
Well, one thing I did forget to mention is that we went through a fertility doctor when we got pregnant with Eli, before we got pregnant with Eli, because I knew I was infertile. One of the doctors, I am backtracking. One of the doctors refused to treat me because of Nate. They said that they needed for me to have a sperm donor or for me to have a surrogate.
Wow.
So that meant Leah had to be pregnant with my baby, which was not happening.
I'm about to pass out just hearing the story. So like, I don't know about any
I would
of
have
that.
been your surrogate. No
Steph
problem.
would definitely do something like that.
No problem.
We were at a different time that, a few years ago.
Steph would
with our
legit do that.
I know.
We were.
Maybe
Yeah.
I would have had to do it. No, I would never ask somebody to do that for
Yeah.
me. Ever.
Really?
No. It's a huge thing. Or a sperm donor, which Micah, I've never seen Micah so shocked and scared and upset about that thought ever in his life. Because it's just not our
Not
our
your journey.
path. It's not my
Yeah,
path.
yeah,
No. So anyway, I had the fertility drugs in my fridge when I found out I was pregnant with Eli. So I did get pregnant with Eli with no drugs, which is
Wow.
also a miracle.
Oh,
So
Wow.
that I forgot to mention.
I did not know
Eli's
that.
like a miracle child in every way.
Just
Right.
like mom.
Yes, in every way. I was about to inject those things into my butt, and instead I got a pregnancy positive test, and mom was in shock. I remember, running upstairs. But getting back to
Eli's about to be born.
Yeah, they wanted me to go 2 more weeks than I did. I also went 5 weeks early with Eli, and every single day I was pregnant, I counted it as like a win, because
Right.
I knew I could lose the baby at any time. My water would break, because my water was prone to breaking because of the steroids.
Mhm.
So I was like, once I hit 6 months, I'm like, okay, like we're kind of not viable yet, but like when I got to a viable date, like 28 weeks when I was pregnant, that's little, but I was like, if I had him now, he would survive. Chances
Right.
are low, but it could happen.
We'll be okay.
I remember every single week, like me just praising the Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. And when he came out of me, I've never felt a load lifted off of me more than ever.
God.
Seeing him come out
Ew.
and crying and being alive, like, and just crying and not seeming like he had any issues. There was a feeling like I'll never have like ever in my life again.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
really beautiful. And it was a beautiful time for Micah and I, because I was just laying there and we were just staring at each other like, oh my God, this is how, like, they're pulling him out of me.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was
Wow.
beautiful.
Wow.
Your nose running? Do you need tissue?
No, I'm okay. So Eli comes out, and did they like take him right out like they did Isaiah, or was it like
No, it was the typical C-section. They have
Okay.
teams of doctors coming in. And because of him having the issues that they knew he could have, there was like multiple sets of doctors. So it was intimidating, but like I felt safe. I was in a great hospital. We were all prepared. Blood was ready to be transfused. Like, we were ready. And we were in there for like maybe 10 days or something in NICU. And he struggled a little bit with his breathing, but preemie stuff.
right?
And he came home and he's healthy. And
He's so small.
We had
he was
little
so
baby
little.
Eli.
5 pounds.
Little Eli.
Oh my God, he was 5 pounds.
Yeah, both my boys were.
Oh my God, Isaiah
Wow.
is still so small. Isaiah is still 5 pounds.
He's 25 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Eli's 21 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
He's an eater.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
It was a journey.
What a journey.
Yeah, and I'm thankful for you guys. Like, truly I am. And for all my friends, everybody knows who you are. And for my social media, because I vented to all of you, whether you cared or you did not care,
Right.
you were my outlet.
Wow.
So that's where I did all my venting
Yeah.
and my close friends. But like, you were an ear for me to speak to. And
Yeah.
a lot of people hated me for it. I've had people say to me, like, why do you even share that? I'm like, then you don't have to listen to me. But this is how I vent, and everybody has their own outlet. So
Yeah.
that's me, and that's how I share on my social media now. Like, I share about my day to day.
It's your diary.
It's my diary, and
Yeah.
I'm not a good writer. Like, I don't
Right.
like to write. I don't
you
like
can't
to
spell
read.
bucket.
I
you can't
cannot
spell guitar. Yeah.
So talking is like something that just brings life to me.
Yeah.
And I just love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So that's why I do it.
Yeah, and I just want to say this real quick. If you're a hater on Instagram, get off of it.
Get off of
Like,
it.
if
get
you
off.
just have a bad attitude, like, all around, like, listen, it's.
Remember when I remade my Instagram
Right.
because I have crazy OCD.
Ooh.
And I created a brand new account. I'm like, I'm going to start from scratch. And I started posting pictures every single week, like these Instagrammers do, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
And I remember getting multiple comments and messages being like, why are you posting so much?
Who said this?
You again on my feed.
I'm coming at you.
I'm not going to say who said it, but you know who you are. Yeah. And I like multiple people.
I remember.
And like they'd be like, why are you posting so much? Or like, oh, here's another post of you. You're always on my feed. I'm like, bro,
like get off of it.
Stop following me.
Right. And that's what Instagram's for. It's for creativity, artists.
Exactly. Expression. Like, I'm sorry that I expressed myself more than once today. I'm sorry.
While we're on this topic, both of your pictures are stunning. I love when these girls post. Let me tell you, I live for these podcasts. I live for the posts every single time. I'm like loving it. But girls, let's work on our confidence. When you guys post something so beautiful, let's celebrate people that post things that are beautiful.
Guys.
You are not cocky. You're not conceited. You're not full of yourself. All these things mean the same thing, but you are just showing like you, and that's okay.
That's another form of art, is just showing you in different places, different colors, different filters. You know what I mean? So
celebrate people.
Right. And I think one thing that you'll learn from Sam, and I really want you guys to go and follow Sam, is that
it's Jacobus Tribe.
Only if you want to, I mean.
Her Instagram's at Jacobus Tribe.
Right, yeah. I mean, like, I'm not holding a gun to anybody's head. So, yeah, if you want to. Like, everyone has free will. But what I'm saying is, like Sam has a confidence in that you see through through her Instagram stories that will inspire you. She's also funny as heck. So like you're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you're gonna gain confidence. Like Sam doesn't really like give herself like that much credit when it comes to like her Instagram and like what she shares. But like honestly, like it's impacted my life. Like seeing you share and be vulnerable and open is what made me hunger for vulnerability and doing that.
Well,
so
you
like,
guys are also on my Instagram, and people love to see you guys as well. So if you do follow me, you'll be seeing the girls.
Yeah, it's true.
Thank you for that.
Welcome. We love you.
Also, I don't really get what the difference between Instagram stories and YouTube is. The only difference is like you can edit YouTube.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I'm unedited here, honey.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're basically just doing YouTube videos on your Instagram. Right. What's wrong with that?
And people keep saying to me, like, just make a YouTube account. And
it's more personable though on Instagram.
Yes. And I don't want to edit videos at this time in my life. It
takes away like the intimacy, the vulnerability. Yeah.
And I am if you know me, I'm one of the most vulnerable people. I am not controversial. Is that the
controversial?
Yeah. No. When like
contradicting?
No. Like when like mom is very
confrontational.
Thank you. Right. No offense to mom. That's just what it is. I'm not a confrontational person. I don't like people not to like me. Like I want to do right by people. Yeah. But I'm very confident and it is what it like. I will give you my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
Not in a mean way, but like I also like don't like to go at it either.
Yeah.
But what you see is what you get with me. Period.
Right.
Have so much fun, guys. I love my sisters.
Yeah. Oh my god, I
live, laugh, love you guys.
Love you.
They bring a little bit. Each one of them bring different to my life. You know, Steph makes me laugh more than almost any human being in this whole world. And you get Leah on a good day, she will also make me pee my pants.
On a good day.
No, Liz can be really funny, but you also like you will tell it like it is. If you don't want to do something, you'll be like, no.
I get in trouble for that.
No, I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're very.
It just comes across very
differently.
Bratty.
Yeah, but I know you well enough.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So like, I think like, I don't know, you guys kind of get to see the dynamic of like me, Sam, Liz.
We have a great time.
We do.
Great.
We get on each other a lot.
Yeah.
We really get on each other. Like we make fun of each other.
Yeah. Make fun of each other.
Oh yes.
Oh, like all the time.
Yes. It is.
We like to it's like the sisterhood of
the traveling pants.
Except
you guys are too young for that?
No, what are you talking about? I love that movie.
Oh, I lived
and like that. We're kind of the same age, Sam.
Oh.
That's how it was. They were all the same age.
I sometimes see Steph as my sister, but sometimes see her as my child.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that's how you treat everybody
okay,
that's really close to you.
We
You're
also
my
have,
child, too.
We
Yeah,
have a
literally.
funny story. One time me and Sam were in Costco.
Oh, I don't know. Oh,
What?
no.
when
I'm
we were in
nervous.
Costco, when me and you were in Costco.
Oh, this is good.
And
This is good.
Who am I? I think I was holding Z. I think Isaiah.
One of my
I was,
kids.
I
They
was
look the
holding
same.
Isaiah's
They do.
hand. And Sam is pushing around the cart, and I go up to get a sample.
Oh, I know this story.
And this lady yells at me. She's like, "Hey!" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Where's your mother?" And I'm like, And I like look around, and Sam's like, "What?"
I'm like, what? I'm right here.
And I'm like, "She's right there." And I point at Sam
Without hesitation.
without hesitation.
She is my child.
Without hesitation, she's like, oh, "Okay." I'm like, "Also, I'm 26 years old."
That lady thought she was too young to get a sample at Costco.
That's
And
hilarious.
we both reacted. There was no second thought.
Can I be
You-
honest though? I would have done the same thing. I would have been like,
Yes.
Sam, you're my mom.
Yeah,
Yes, that's my mom.
I didn't think about it. I was just like, her. And like I pointed at Sam, and Sam was like, "I'm right here." Like I'm her mom. And it was the funniest. We could not stop laughing.
God.
And I was so shocked. Like I was first of all shocked that I was like, "Sam." Like
Yeah. And I was like, yes, honey. I was like, what's happening?
yeah, like we didn't know.
You were holding my kids. Like
I was, yeah.
or it's either that, like I'm the mom, or you're the mom of my kids.
They think I
Yes.
Which
gave
you're Puerto
birth.
Rican.
Yeah, like I
My
have
kids
like
are white.
Yes.
dark hair and like
Yeah.
dark eyes. These
Yes.
kids are like blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Your kids are so beautiful." I'm like, "They're not my kids."
But
Like,
thank you.
But thanks.
It's funny. People think that I'm you.
Oh, I love this. This is
People
my
think
favorite.
that I'm you at work because you work there on Tuesdays.
I used to.
Yeah, I used to work there a lot more. But before you had the babies.
The babies.
But
took my job.
people come in and they think that me and Micah are married.
And she goes along with it.
Yeah, I'll just go along with it.
She's like, hi, Sammy. And you're like, hi.
I'm like, hello. Like a customer came in one time and he was like, oh, he knew you because from like Coco's, from our aunt's cafe back in the day. I guess you talked, you're very friendly.
Oh, thank you.
He knew me. You remember him? He would come to all of my shows, Sam.
I know who you're talking about.
remember.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
sweet man.
the funny part was that he knew me a lot more than he knew Sam.
He was obsessed with you.
He was obsessed. And so he came into the shop one day and I'm like, oh God, here we go. Because sometimes I hide from people
she
that I know
hides.
that come into the shop.
Well, Leela Grace fans are like
Yes.
these old hardcore men
Scary
fan-
people.
Scary.
You just don't want it in your life.
no.
And so, oh my God, he walks in. I'm like, this is it for my life. This is it. He found me. And I'm sitting back there. He's like, is that Sam? I'm like, yup. He's like, how are you? Oh my gosh. I'm like, I'm doing so good. He's like, how many kids do you have? I'm like, 3. And he's like, how's Leah? Because back then he knew me as Leah. He's like, how's your sister Leah? And I'm like, she's doing so well.
That's
And he's like, is she
crazy.
still singing? I'm like, yep. He's like,
I
oh my
can't.
God.
I
And we were talking for 10 minutes
I cannot.
and I was you.
Well, also people think mom and Micah are married.
Yes.
Oh,
That like people think me and mom are sisters or me and mom are
Yeah.
the same human.
right.
So
Literally
that's awesome. People text me like, I just saw you at Walmart. And I'm like, no, you did. I'm freaking home at my house. And I call mom. Mom, where are you? I'm at Walmart shopping. I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm like, that was my mom.
Wait, another time. I'm trying to think.
I'm telling you, that
people call
Botox
me.
and filler is working.
People call at work all the time. They're like, Sam? I'm like, yep.
You better be making a good impression.
No, I tell some people I'll just say yes if I don't know who they are. People who I know who they are, I'll be like, no, it's me, and they'll be like, oh my God, you guys sound the same on the phone.
Yeah, sometimes when we're
Yeah,
babysitting Isaiah, and Isaiah doesn't know we're downstairs, so he would go to sleep. Liz speaks into Isaiah's little camera microphone, and she'll try to be like Sam when Sam and Micah go on like dates. And
Because
she'll
if
be like,
he knows that we're here, he won't sleep.
he won't
Yeah.
sleep. So we have to like pretend that we're not here, or that I'm not here specifically, because he just won't sleep.
Obsessed.
So like Liz has to pretend that she's Sam, and she'll be like, lay down, and it sounds
down.
and it sounds exactly like Sam,
how you do
and
it.
you have to see his face when it happens. It's like shock, like in the camera, like you know how it's like his eyes light up. He's like,
Yes.
He like looks at the camera and like curls around, and it's so funny.
Wait, but I was thinking if we have the same talking voice, we must have the same singing voice. So
Oh no. Oh no.
My
Oh no.
God.
I'm totally kidding.
Okay, but you can kind of sing though.
You can, yeah. You can hold a note.
You're kind of good.
Really?
Yeah.
Please, like I'm regretting every.
No, seriously.
Micah says I'm horrible, so
Well, Micah
tough.
says I'm horrible. Micah thinks everybody's horrible.
Micah's
True.
tough.
I live, laugh, love my husband. Like that's. I want to. Can we do that? Like a topic about
What?
how
Oh,
much I love my
yes.
husband.
Oh no.
Like a husband and me conversation.
Yeah. Oh, we would love to have Micah
I
on
love
here,
my
but Micah
husband.
doesn't talk.
Oh, he'll talk.
He'll talk?
I mean,
Micah.
I feel like he might. Okay, maybe not, but I want to honor my husband.
Oh,
Yeah.
honor.
Yeah, go
Live,
girl.
laugh, love, but he does say I can't sing, and it makes me sad, so I sing even louder.
Well, maybe you're not trying.
I can try. Like, put me on an album.
Oh, a whole
think-
album.
Okay. If we get 10 likes on this video, me
Yeah.
and Sam will release
coming
a
out.
Christmas album.
Yes, me and Steph.
10 likes.
No,
Christmas is in 4
one
days.
song. One song.
EP,
Silent
EP.
Night. I'm really good at Silent Night. Really good.
EP.
Oh.
Gosh. All right.
I know. We have to end it.
We have to end it.
Wait, one
How long
last
has
thing.
it been?
An hour.
Okay.
One last thing. I will say, since it's been 10 years since you've been married,
Yeah.
I remember I said this in the last one. It was so special to see the fruit of your marriage
Oh my
at your
gosh,
wedding
yeah.
renewal.
Stephanie
It was
remarried me.
so, yeah.
Liz was taking pictures.
That was such a special moment for me.
Oh my God, it was so precious.
I had the diarrheas.
Oh my God.
So-
Everything about that ceremony was like perfect.
It was us.
It
you
was
know?
completely chaotically perfect.
Complete
Yeah.
chaos.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
The kids were screaming. I was literally in the middle of my vows and I was like, stop. I need a poop.
Yeah.
I can't.
And I ran to the bathroom. Micah held up my dress. I even took a picture in the bathroom on my Instagram.
So funny. You wore a black dress.
I
this
wore a
time.
black dress. If
You
ew,
look beautiful.
If I ever have to wear white, I'm gonna die.
Yeah. No, it was.
I'm like, if you bury me in white, I will come up from my grave and kill you.
Oh my God, I believe it.
I swear to
Yeah,
God.
she's wearing all black right now. So
You are.
That's a whole
That's
nother
her whole
episode.
fit.
This is me.
it's a vibe.
This is me.
Oh my.
But yeah, so my
God.
vow renewal was everything and more. I love my husband.
Oh my God.
And no, I really
no,
mean
I'm
that.
saying that's so beautiful.
My love for him is just growing every day.
I love it.
And so for 10 years to look at what we've been through, our fertility journey, our church journeys, our ministry journeys,
Yeah.
our personal journeys, our emotional journeys, all the journeys like to see come together was so beautiful.
We
and for
have- yeah.
you to be able to
So special.
remarry us, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that what it's called?
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. I was on the happiest day of my life.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Happier than my wedding day.
Yeah, it was such an
Aw.
honor.
Yeah,
Like, it
we
was-
have
it was
to
beautiful.
do a podcast of your story with Micah.
Yeah.
I would
Your story is
love-
incredible.
Yeah,
I do have a fun story.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's
Doubt people
literally
have
amazing.
doubted. Oh my god.
Oh
it's a
yeah, I'm
story.
sure.
Micah
yeah.
and I would love to talk about that. I would
Yes.
like Micah to be putting
Yes.
his input in because people always think I'm the obsessed one.
Right.
They're like, you're obsessed with Micah so
No.
much. Like, dude, he's obsessed with me. Like,
You
to-
both
Right.
equally love each
we
other.
equally
Yeah,
Adore.
adore each other.
Yeah.
So
yeah. He's just not good at expressing certain things.
no, he
Well,
is
he's a
to
guy.
me. He
To
is
Sammy,
like,
yeah, yeah.
But he's like no one would ever know. Like he's not a good.
That's
he
what I
doesn't
mean,
express
yeah. Yeah,
well
yeah.
to other people, so
Right.
they don't see what I see in him.
Right, right.
But that's not.
fine.
It's not everybody's
about
meant to
that.
see that.
yeah.
No, he's
Yeah.
my intimate boy.
Yeah, but he's awesome, and he
Yeah.
he loves hard, he loves deep.
Yeah.
This was Sam's story.
Yeah, and I think
infertility.
like thank you guys so much for listening to it, and like for anyone out there that's struggling, like whatever it is, whether it's infertility or whether it's singleness, whether it's you're on Instagram and you're trying to express yourself and you got haters, like
Mhm.
whatever it is that you're facing, like just know like we support you.
Yeah.
Like we stand behind you, we support you. Whether it's depression through a really hard time, like we got you. We
Yeah.
support you so much, and like we love you guys, and like this is a beautiful story of what it means to not only walk through something with your husband, not only walk through something personally, but learn how to connect with the Father in such a different way.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful story of 3 miracle babies that are thriving. I mean, they have the flu, but they're thriving.
Oh my god.
And like, it's just a beautiful story. Like, if you see, this is why I appreciate Sam's Instagram stories so much. Because what you're looking at is 3 miracles. What you're looking at is 2 people who've walked through a very, very hard and tiring journey. Not only in fertility, ministry, church hurt, losing friends,
losing everyone,
everyone, as well as family issues. Right.
Yes.
As well as just there was just multiple things going on at that time that people didn't really get to see.
No.
And so
care to ask.
Right. That's a whole other topic.
That no one even cared to reach out.
Right. And see how like, hey, how are you doing? Right. And it wasn't like no one knew you were going through infertility. You had pastors that knew you were going through that, but who sat with you and
my best friends
but no one from your church.
Oh no.
So it's a life lesson. Like, make sure that the people that when you're going to church, the people that you're around, like care about each other, love each other. You guys are in the same church for a reason. Right. And so
it's a community.
It's a community. So
care about each other.
Yeah. Love each other. Like, take the extra step. Like, it's important. You don't know what a person's going through. And I know we hear that all the time, but seriously, like, how many of you have known Sam and didn't know the extent of what she walked through?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just knew Sam because Micah led worship at the church, or you knew Sam because of whatever it is that you knew her through, but you didn't know the pain of the journey, and you didn't care to sit with her and be like, Sam, like, how can I love on you in this moment? Unless you were one of her friends. Yeah. And so, like, it may be uncomfortable, but you know, like, take the step, ask a person, hey, how are you today? How can I be a blessing to you? How can I love you? Do you need to talk? Do you need someone? It's important to have that. So make sure that you're doing that. It's real. You know, people are going through stuff, and they sometimes just need someone other than family to be like, yo, this is hard. Yeah. You know? So thank you guys so much for listening. Sam, thank you so much for sharing.
You.
I love this.
Yeah, it was great.
We
are definitely having you on again.
Happy that you shared. Yeah. Oh yeah, you made it.
Okay. I was so concerned.
Yeah, we should have you as a host.
Yeah, I want to be.
That would be fun.
That would be great.
And my friends reach out, like, if you want to be a part of the podcast, talk about, there's so many, everybody has a story. Let's listen to, this is what we love in life.
This is how you learn and grow.
This is how different perspectives. You guys were talking about this on Mom's podcast. Perspective is so important.
Yes.
We need to hear other people's opinions, even if you agree to disagree.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
It's important in life.
It is.
It really is. This is how we grow as people. Not to stay in the same old box that we've been staying in. Like, expand yourself.
Yeah. Yep. And sometimes listening to other people's stories makes you see like, man, like, what I'm going through might not be that bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Or it makes you seem like, man, I could have the courage because she had the courage to fight. So I have the courage to fight also.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what we want to do. We want to encourage you. We want to give you courage to keep fighting, to keep going.
Love that.
We love you guys. Make sure
all.
you listen next week. If you want to be on the podcast, again, hit us up. Let us know. We have some topics coming up that are like tough ones. We're going to be talking about eating disorders. We're going to be talking about mental health in the church and how the church handles that.
Oh my. Eating disorders?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Share stories.
We're going to share stories. Yeah.
Didn't we all have a little? Okay.
Not everybody.
We'll get into it. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Yes. We're gonna get into how the church handles mental illness.
Yes.
We're gonna get into just a lot of topics, church and communication, where there's a lot of people that have been hurt by the church that really want to talk about that.
Yeah.
And so, like, we kind of touched on it on our first episode, so go listen to that one. But yeah, if you guys want to keep hearing us, thank you for your support. Make sure you like, subscribe, make sure you share. We love you guys.